Alright, for the last few months, I've been tracking updates about Comet 3i Atlas, as has everybody else, unless you've been living under a vacuum, in a vacuum, whatever you've been doing. I've got three things to raise, 3 points. Number one, I've looked at the publications on the comet and have analysed the data about the luminosity and colour of Comet 3i Atlas. Number two, I've noticed that music in the form of urban and contemporary rap music genres can be extracted from the dataset I was looking at. Number three, I started to write this music down using modern studio software, and well, here we are. All right, let's do this. Yeah. Right, today we cover. I know yesterday we covered the earthquakes, but that was just basically looking at the 20 strongest earthquakes we've ever measured. Not to mention the ones that come before pre-seismology. I covered those too. But the only stories we have about those will come from fables that are stuck around with normal folk tales. Yeah, but now I'm looking at a more scientific analysis of the earthquakes of the last 100 years is what I'm talking about. If we go online, I'm using Wikipedia for that because, it's a well-known story. They shouldn't be getting it too wrong. But if there was missing data, I would have followed it up and filled in the blanks because sometimes they're not quite sure what the earthquake was, and if they got two values for it a range, then you take the average of that. But basically, if we look at the past 100 years, but this one has been keeping track since 1907. So we have, but I'll start from 1926. Yeah. If you look at 1926 data there, give me a second. 1926 data. Yeah. You've got the earthquake that happened Dutch East Indies. Yeah. October 26th. That was a 7.6, and we go all the way down. These were the highest earthquakes for that year, each year. You know what I mean? So the highest earthquake of that year was a 7.3. Yeah, and then there was that's 25, by the way. Shit. The next one, 7.6, and so forth. And these ranges, I would have averaged it. So that's 8.4 to 8.5 in 1933. But I put that one down as the bit between that, which is 8.45. If we go down, and this keeps track all the way up to 2025, which was last year. Yeah. All the way up to there. Yeah. So, but I only took 1925, 26, really, to 2026, but we haven't reached that yet. But I'll explain my reasons. I just wanna because these tunes, I'll be adding on to them. So next year I'll put the data for this year, and I might drop data for a previous year. Not that it's gonna make any change. Yeah. So what I did, I took those values, and I put them in my own little table that I made up. So here are the values. The ones in red, I took the whole table, really. Yeah. But I started from 20, like I said, 2026. Yeah. Oh, sorry, got the wrong one. 2026. Yeah. Until 2025. Yeah. So those are the values I took, and I look. What I did is to check it's kind of like numerology. Yeah. So I took the the year, sorry, the magnitude. This is the magnitude. That's the second, sorry, what is it? One, two, three, four, fifth column there. No, hold on. One, two, three, four, five, six. Sixth column from the left. So I took the magnitude. If you look at the magnitude of the 7.6, the first red one, that's just stupid. I'm in the middle of something. It's stupid, 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 stupid. That's like the cube root of a stupid cube. Yeah. If the side of the cube is x and x equals stupid, what's x cubed? X times x times x. That's stupid, stupid, stupid. Fucking. Anyway, that's just stupid. So I took the magnitude, which is in this case 7.6, and then I just added the numbers basically. 7 plus 6 is 13. That's what you see in that column, the last column there. The next one's 14, 8, which is a Fibonacci, 9, 12, and 16, and so forth, yeah? Right, so I look for just Fibonacci numbers, yeah? In the, if you add the numbers together, you get a Fibonacci in that, yeah? And this doesn't really tell you about magnitude, but when you're looking at the strongest earthquakes of the year, it should be the highest one, because there will be other combinations that can make that value, but the highest one should be that one. Yeah, I'm just looking at the highest values of the year. Excuse me. So then we go to the show. So obviously there's 100 years, right? And the piano only has 88 keys, so I had to normalize it. I had to divide it by 0.88, so or times it, whatever. So the year will start from 26, and by the end of it, there's 88 keys. Yeah, 88, but it would end in 2025. Yeah, because I normalized each year by that factor. Yeah, so that's how come you get things like so once I normalized it, then you get the first earthquake was 26, 27, 28, and so forth. And there was data there to be collected, the Fibonacci data. The first one I collected was that, 2, and then the 9th year. Yeah, if you go back, the first, the second, and the 9th year, from what I collected, would be the first one is a 13. Was the second. Was that third? Yeah. And that one. I'm not quite sure what order it goes in. Yeah. And then the next Fibonacci is this one. Yeah. Well, that's the 9th one from there anyway. But that's the third, I think. Not the second one. Yeah. Oh, it is the third. That is 3. The first, the third earthquake and the 9th earthquake were Fibonacci numbers, 888, I think. So there was only 2 Fibonaccis that turned up, 8 and 13, you know. All the other numbers added up to something other than Fibonacci numbers, which are 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, and so forth, yeah. But only 2 numbers turned up. So now I've got 2 notes. What am I going to do with that? 2 notes. So I'm rocking my brain here as a musician. What am I going to do with 2 notes? So you put the notes down. It's G4 and a D4, right? And those ones, and play what it looks like. Yeah. You see? Yeah. Da-dum. Yeah. Da-dum. Da-dum. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You can see it coming. Stupid. true, Bashman. So those notes were where well, basically they'll come between the 22nd and the 24th one. Yeah, you know, like that prime pairing. 3 and 8 is also Fibonacci pairing, you know. So they'll kind of come between the 22nd, yeah, and the 24th, yeah. If we look at the 22nd, 24th, yeah. Because when you add up how many times there was an 8, yeah, in the total, right? Yeah, this total, there's 13, there's an 8. How many 8s were there? And how many? What's the total of that? Divided into how many there was, you get like a 22. And for the 13, if you take the total of those, divide into how many of those hit the 13, you get 24, something like that. So if you look at the, let's say the 22nd one, you count up to 24, 22, right? It will be this one here. Yeah. Yeah, 47. Yeah. And the other one is 49, right? Yeah. No, 49, 52. Shit, I'm counting it wrong. Yeah. Oh, is it? No, 50 and 52. Yeah. The earthquakes that happened then, that's a different story. I was following Fibonacci and the way they repeat. Yeah. If one repeats, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what that is. If 2 repeats, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, you know the 3 times tables, 5, 8, just 8 times tables, and then you get to the current year or close to it, and you can see that 55, yeah, is gonna match 1980. 2035 is the next time we're gonna have a repeating 55 from the year that Christ was born. Yeah. And then if you go to 89 peaked, 2047 is the next one, and 1958. But I didn't do 8 and what's the other one? 8 and 13, yeah. But you can just do the multiples of 8, yeah. That's it. The next multiple of 13 is when a 13 Fibonacci from the time we started measuring the calendar from Christ's birth will hit, yeah. And some numbers down below that have already hit, yeah. 2047 for that one. 2016, that was very recent, for 144. And 2033 we would have peaked already. Yeah, so anyway, I was distracted there. So we look at 1950 and 1952, what those earthquakes were. 1950 was a 14, must have been the average for that Fibonacci as well, yeah. So if we look at the highest magnitude earthquakes, yeah, I'm going on a bit too long. The largest magnitude earthquakes, that would be 1952 is the 4th highest on that list, and 1950 is the 10th highest. Yeah. So those were the earthquakes that were more similar to that, to the average. Yeah. The average looked like more like a 9. Yeah. And an 8.6. So anyway, that's the explanation to how I got to the tune. Now we listen to what I made of that tune. Remember that? On the 2 notes. Right, now listen to the new tune. listen to the new tune. Yeah. Earthquakes, Fibonacci. Yeah. Right. Oh. Yeah, I love the beat. I've just finished it. Yeah. But in terms of Fibonacci, yeah, I mean, yesterday I said a lot about earthquakes, yeah, but now we get down to the nitty-gritty. When you talk about earthquakes, yeah, they're kind of like live signatures, yeah. Your mind, yeah, and your consciousness, yeah. You have phases of consciousness, and they're linked to the frequencies that are produced when the Earth's crust is moving. The Earth's crust is moving slow, so it's normally dealing with 1 hertz, 2 hertz, 3 hertz, 4, that kind of thing, yeah. Those kind of levels, we're talking about like sleep for you, because like the brain waves that you have, the brain waves, they range from 2, 3 to like 15, 20 hertz, so the lower end ones, yeah. What people normally feel when an earthquake is about to strike, they kind of get headaches and they get dizzy spells and that, yeah. So if there is a magnitude 9 or 10 that's gonna happen, we're gonna start to feel a little dizziness inside of us, yeah. So I want all of you to be careful with this, yeah. 8 and 13 is the only Fibonacci numbers that we're doing. Maybe might change, like maybe next year we might get another value that is other than 8 and 13. It might be another Fibonacci value, but every time you look at a year and you add up all the digits of the year and you get 8 or 13, well, that's more likely to be an earthquake if we base it on the last 100 years. But these things are changing, so you can't just say that, yeah. If we base it on the last 100 years from 1926 to now, yeah, the most common Fibonacci numbers are number 8 and 13. I don't know if they're the most common combinations for an earthquake, but every time it reaches a 8, when you add them up, look for a very, very strong earthquake, because it might happen now. Let me look at this here. Let me add it up. Yeah, 2026, that's 2026, that's 10. It's not a Fibonacci, so we're not really gonna get a high one now, yeah. If I was a betting man, I'll tell you like well, if you add 3 to that, you get a 13, so that would be 2029, yeah. That's when I most probably think that an earthquake that's gonna be the highest of that year will be top 10, I guess. Because the top 10 earthquakes, the minor one, which happens at 5, yeah, the 5th strongest that we had in the last 500 years is the number 8, yeah, I think, and the 13 is the one that happens after the, no, I think it's the other way around. So the 13 is the major one that happens at 10. So I think every time a year ends, adds up to 8, yeah, you get a top 10 earthquake in that century. I'm just making up a theory as we go along. So there's not much to say about the Fibonacci sequence here, but you can apply it to everything, and maybe this is showing me something. I mean, those two numbers stand out, and the Fibonacci pair, that means that they're next to each other. So you can say that 13 is also 1325, 1321 can be seen as a pair, but 138 is also a pair. Fibonacci is different from prime numbers, because prime numbers, like for example, if you look at 17 and 19, those are pairs, and the next one's up. There's some numbers that always pair up, yeah. I can't remember what the next pair is, yeah, but that's how it always happens, yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So this is the track for the Fibonacci earthquakes, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it too, because I've enjoyed it. How was I gonna make a song from just 2 notes? I figured out how. So yeah. Anyway, back to the symptoms. Yeah, the symptoms I'm talking about. Yeah, I've been going on for a very long time. Yeah, yeah. So some of the symptoms you're gonna be having, if the headaches and nausea, and you feel like vomiting, yeah, maybe you should look out. You might be on a fault line. Yeah, the other time I was looking online and seeing some of the people that I watched. Some people are into the subjects I like, and they were talking about there's an unusual spate of earthquakes in the residential area somewhere, and this had like 10 or 15 earthquakes in people's houses. I'm like, maybe those people might have been reporting headaches and nausea just prior to those movements. Like here in the UK, we find it very hard to measure earthquakes. Well, I can't find where they are, because there's very few sites that are trust with scientific data, and I'm sure they have one, but I just haven't found it. But I'm sure I'm sure I sense some, because sometimes I get dizzy spells that sound like that, and when I watch a documentary and told me how people feel when they're near earthquakes, it kind of feels like that. And I hear snakes, they run uphill, some of them run into walls and crash their heads and die. Yeah, the earthquake resonates in such a way that the whole planet feels it. Even the clouds are moving at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hertz, them kind of things. There's a man who watches Schumann resonances, and those resonances, they move at the same frequencies as us. Yeah, when I say us, I mean your consciousness, your thoughts, what's in your head, and even the earthquakes. Yeah, it all ties in. Yeah, resonance, means that the frequency of one thing is transferred into another remotely. Not remotely, there's always a medium that transfers it. Now from the ground there's air, and that's what touches the clouds. Yeah, for us, we're in the middle of the air, so we're touching everything. Like we're touching the air, we're touching the clouds, and we're also touching the ground. So anything that kicks off is going to resonate in us, and anything that kicks off in us is going to resonate in them. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Enjoy this tune. I'll let it run for a little while, but as for me, I'm done.